Hey everybody, Movie Review Next Door here, and I'm back with another review, and that green. Um, Back with another review, and bit of disappointing one, and that is Kick-Ass 2. It's a 2013 superhero action comedy film directed by Jeff Wadlow and starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Chloe Grace Moretz, uh, Jim Carrey, and Morris Chestnut. In this film, after Kick-Ass's insane bravery inspires a new wave of self-made masked crusaders, he joins a patrol led by the Colonel Stars and Stripes. With these amateur superheroes, when these super bleh, when these amateur superheroes are hunted down by Red Mist, reborn as the Motherfucker, only the blade-wielding Hit Girl can prevent their annihilation. So, what did I think of Kick-Ass 2? Okay, I watched Kick-Ass for the first time maybe a month or so ago. Um, and I didn't watch it with people. I had like people on like a VC on Discord, and I was like, okay, sure, they can get my reactions to it, fine. And I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think Matthew Vaughn did a fantastic job directing. Um, sure, it has issues. Certain characters don't get enough to do at certain points, and certain things aren't as fleshed out as I'd like them to be, especially Chris D'Amico's character. But then you get Kick-Ass 2. They somehow neutered it. With sequels, you're supposed to go bigger, and this one really doesn't. In fact, I'm pretty sure it has a lower budget, and it kind of shows in certain parts. But one of the wrong way with that. Okay, there you go. Just a second. I'm working with a reverse image of myself. This film is very disappointing for me. As a fan of the first, I'm very disappointed. I wanted better. I wanted more interesting action scenes, which the first one gave me really fun action scenes. I'm not saying that. I meant I wanted more. And this one really didn't give it to me. Well, let me get to the cast. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kick Ass, or Dave Lazuski. He's still good. It just feels like he's barely an entity in this film at many times. He's barely doing anything as Kick-Ass and kind of falls to the wayside a lot of the time. He doesn't really get much fighting to do like he did in the first. But still, he's a decent enough actor. I like him here. Chloe Grace Moretz as Mindy, or Hit Girl. I really liked her in the first one. I thought it was an interesting and a bit of a different thing to have like a 10 or 12-year-old superhero type of thing, her cursing her mouth off. I thought it was fun. I thought she did a good job. The fight scenes, while I know there was a stunt double, people get so mad that it was a man stunt doubling for a little girl. Fuck off. They had to do what they had to do. Um, I loved her in the first one, and here I still like her. It's just that they don't give her the best stuff to do, and she doesn't really get to curse a lot, which is kind of one of the biggest things about her character was that she was foul-mouthed. But yeah, Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Chris D'Amico, or the Motherfucker. I never liked him. I never liked this character, and I don't like that he's basically the main villain of the second film. Um, he's very annoying. I never liked him in Superbad. I never liked him. I've never liked him as an actor. I know a lot of people like this actor. What else was he in? How to Train Your Dragon, Pitch Perfect, Promising Young Woman, disaster artist, a bunch of shit. Um, Shit as in a lot of movies, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. Uh, the yeah, I don't like him as a character really. Um, Jim Carrey as Sal Bartolini or Colonel Stars and Stripes. I liked him. I wish he was in the movie more, and I wish he wouldn't have made the statement he did back then was that he wasn't endorsing the film because there was violence in it and Sandy Hook had just happened, which has nothing to do with the film. I don't even there wasn't an action scene in the school. Really? There's like an imaginary one, but it's not violent. It's just punching and stuff and literally in a character's mind. And then Chloe Grace Moretz stepped in and was like, "Yeah, it's a fucking superhero movie, dude. Chill the fuck out." And you know what? I am with her on that. Anyway, apparently a lot of Jim Carrey's footage got cut out. I can kind of tell because when a certain event happens in this, you're supposed to feel like sadness, and I really feel nothing. I guess I'm gonna make this a spoiler review. The moment where he dies, it I should have said spoilers, but it's kind of obvious when you know what kind of character it is. When he dies, I didn't feel much of anything. I thought he could have been a fun character, but apparently a lot of his stuff was cut out or he didn't get to do enough for the movie, something like that. And it really would have helped when he does die. But yeah, still cool to see him. And Morris Chestnut as Detective Marcus Williams. He's there. I like Morris Chestnut. But yeah, doesn't get a ton to do. The biggest disappointment in this film is the choice of director for me. Jeff Wadlow is the director of, again, I haven't seen all of these films, but Truth or Dare, which I cited as one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen, at least bigger studio, even though Blumhouse is indie, I still consider it a fucking terrible horror movie. Fantasy Island, Never Back Down, never seen Fantasy Island either. Curse of Bridge Hollow, True True Memoirs of an International Assassin, and Cry Wolf. I have seen Cry Wolf. It's very unremarkable. Notice something about these other movies. The only other movie that has any type of action in it that I'm aware of. Well, here's the thing. None of these are superhero movies. Matthew Vaughn had at least dealt in some type of action in that kind of style before doing Kick Ass. So I'm really confused as to why Jeff Wadlow was picked as the director because I don't think he understands what makes the first film this beloved classic, this beloved modern classic comic book movie. Because the action in this is really unremarkable. It's insanely unremarkable. Think of the action scenes from the first film. There's the very memorable bit where Hit Girl's going down the hallway, taking out dudes with the knife chain thing, and Bad Reputation's playing, and it. Well, there's another song. I forgot what the other song was, but there are very kinetic, very fun action scenes in the first film. This film doesn't really, excuse me, have any super memorable action scenes in it, and I don't I'm struggling to remember any of them other than the last one because I literally just finished the movie. Um, and the last action scene wasn't anything interesting. Like most of the action scenes are really, really annoyingly tame or just if you told me this director had never done an action movie, I'd believe it. Technically he has, I guess, Never Back Down and True Memoirs of an International Assassin are technically action movies. But I think True Memoirs is supposed to be more of a action comedy, and Never Back Down is more of a drama, like MMA type thing. Again, I've never seen either of them, but this film really needed someone who knew how to direct action, at least, and comedy, because the comedy in this is so bad. There is a scene where Hit Girl's getting revenge on this girl who bullied her and basically like acted like she was her friend. There's this whole fucking stupid high school subplot that does not need to be in the movie. And the movie would flow better without it. It really doesn't need to be there for her character or anything. It's very useless. Um, where she has this gadget that makes these three girls shit their pants and projectile vomit, and there's literally CG vomit and or I don't even maybe it was practical vomit, but there's CGI diarrhea, and I'm like, I don't need to see this. This is not funny. There's nothing funny about this. It's meant to be a gross out gag because this director does not know how to do comedy. I believe that is exactly what happened. And I really do not want to see True Memories of an International Assassin if this is the type of comedy he thinks is funny. Because I really don't care for that type of comedy. I like gross out humor at times. This is not even trying in the humor category. What else? What else issues? Oh yeah, Hit Girl is neutered in this. She doesn't get to do barely anything, and she gets to barely do anything until the last 20 minutes of the film, where she ends up rescuing the main character. And the action scene with her on top of the van is okay. There's some clever moments, I guess. There's the guys are like shooting SMGs in the ceiling, and then she's using the bullet holes to like dig her fingers in so she can hold on to the top of the van, and then she goes to the side. It's kind of cool. It's not enough to save this movie. Um, the first film also had a bit of an issue with the uncertain tone. You'd have a comedic scene, and then right after it, you'd have a very, very dark scene. This film amplifies that. There is literally a scene where the main character, okay, the main character's dad, Dave's dad, ends up turning himself in as Kick-Ass. First off, why the fuck would he do that? I don't know. We barely know anything about the dad character, so I don't care. While in prison, Chris finds out via his friend. His friend like joins the bad guys and is like, yeah, the guy that turned himself in as Kick-Ass is the dad of the actual Kick-Ass. So Chris ends up sending a bunch of goons to murder his father and send him pictures, and the friend never gets repercussions for this. It's just kind of forgotten. That's a big fucking thing. He's the reason his dad is dead. He's the reason that our main character's dad is dead. And then at the funeral, it's like this very depressing scene where you see that everybody is in distress, everybody is sad. All of a sudden, an action scene breaks out. You couldn't have a little bit of quiet. You couldn't have a little bit of, I don't know, oh, we're trying to remember this character, so maybe we shouldn't have an action scene right away. There's no, literally, people do not act like humans in this. In the first one, they at least acted a little bit like humans. But there's literally a scene also, the scene where Colonel Stars and Stripes gets decapitated or killed by the bad guys. Um, right after that, we're having a scene in a coffee shop about the guys in the group saying, "Oh, who wants to pitch in for flowers for his funeral?" And it doesn't feel like they heard the same news we did. Your leader is has been murdered, and you don't seem to be taking it seriously. And that's what I mean. This film feels like it's made by aliens kind of, and there are certain small moments where I'm like, "Okay, that was interesting. That could have been cool." Take Christy Amico out of the entire film. I hate that character. I don't think he's funny. I don't think he's threatening. He's not. He's a scrawny little shit. I never thought Superbad was a funny movie. Yes, I said it. I found Jonah Hill fucking annoying. I found Michael Cera annoying. I found this little fucker annoying. And him being the main villain of this film really does not help its case. At least in the first film, you had Mark Strong, who is a much better actor and much more charismatic and works as a villain. And I believe him killing all these people and being a mafia head. The first film, again, while not having a significantly higher budget, around 40 million from what I remember, I can actually look it up. Um, 30 million. Okay, so I'm gonna rescind my comment. This is piss poor compared to the first film. I'm still not gonna give it lower than a 6 out of 10 because there are a couple moments. This film is only $2 million. Mm, only $2 million less budget than the first. Jeff Wadlow must have spent a fuck ton of money on the catering because this film looks cheap, it feels cheap. There are multiple parts where I can clearly see the seams of the budget, and I hate to be like this, but the scene with the CGI shit looked like garbage. Didn't need to be there. You could have instead of paying someone to CG diarrhea, you could have, oh, I don't know, added more action because there's also not much action in the sequel to an action movie. And yeah, this film is just a big fucking whopping disappointment. Why would you cast Chloe Grace Moretz again if you're gonna give her barely anything to do? Most of what she does is whine about like high school and how she's not accepted or anything. This is not the same character. It's not. It's not. It's at certain moments it feels like the same character, and at the moments where she's crying about she's not accepted or she got stood up for a date. This is not Hit Girl. Hit Girl was stronger than this. The 12-year-old or 11-year-old Hit Girl was stronger than this 14 or 15-year-old Hit Girl. Think about that. So let, let me see who the writer was. Oh, writer Jeff Wadlow. Why am I not surprised? Apparently, he also wrote Bloodshot and Prey from 2007 with Bridget Moynahan. I've never seen that. I know what it is. I know it's, yeah, same director as Dracula 3000. Oh God. Yeah. Jeff Wadlow, I know you're doing Imaginary. I'm kind of curious about that film. Please don't fuck that up. Please let it be better than Truth or Dare. Because never do an action movie again. Never do a superhero movie again. Just stick to horror, even though I don't think you're really good at that. Because I think you can at least do something there. Unlike this. And again, this isn't one of the worst movies ever. Far from it. There's plenty of moments where I'm like, okay, I can see this being fun. But this is a hollow shell of what the first film was. It really is. It's a black hole. It's a void of what the first film was. It really is disappointing to me that these two films are in the same franchise. And I wish Matthew Vaughn had come back to direct this. But yeah. Yeah, I don't recommend it. But yeah, that was my review of Kick-Ass 2. If you've seen the film, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Um if bleh, if you have any recommendations, put those in the comments as well. And movie reviewer next door out.